Welcome back. This is the third lesson recording for IM2, November 30th, 2020. So let's go to vocabulary for monomial, binomial, and trinomial. So polynomial can be broken into monomial. It's a polynomial with one term. If a polynomial has two terms, then it's called binomial. And if it has three terms, it's trinomial. Okay, so looking at this, can you pick out the monomial? Which are the polynomials with one term? Okay, which are the polynomials with one term? I see one here and I see another one here. What about two terms? Remember, it's the addition and subtraction operation that separates each of the terms. So which has two terms? So this one and this one. Okay? All right, so then what about trinomial? That means three terms. It's those two. Okay, what about this? Why is this one not checked in as three terms? Because this has 1 over x. What is 1 over x? This is same as x to the power of -1. So -1 exponent is not a whole number. Okay, so we can't have negative exponents. So this is not a polynomial. Okay, operations of polynomials combining like terms. Like terms are terms which have the same variables and same exponents. So when you see these polynomial terms, okay, so which are the like terms that we can combine? Well, we know that 3x squared and -x squared, they are like terms because they both have x and x, and they also have the exponent of 2. Okay, so this -x squared, this is just same as just multiplying by -1. Okay, so that's what it means. That's all that it means. So you can always put -1 right here. So this is -1 is being multiplied to x squared, which is same as -x squared. Okay, what about this 4x squared y? Well, we have the variable x and we have the exponent of 2. Why is this not a like term? Well, because we have the y attached to it as well. Y is being multiplied to this as well. So we have extra variable. So we cannot, these are not like terms. Okay, so then do we have any other like terms that we can combine? So hang on, if I combine those two, this will be, oops, this will be 3x squared plus -x squared. That's going to be 2x squared. Okay, can we combine any other terms? Okay, so yes, we have the constant terms, right? Constants, -2 and 7. So -2 and 7 are, what's -2 plus 7? That's going to be positive 8, positive 5, I'm sorry. When I combine this, that becomes positive 5. Do we have any other like terms? Okay, well, what about these two? We have y squared and x here. We have y squared and x. The order is reversed, but that does not matter because multiplication is commutative. That means the order does not matter. This is all just multiplying 0.5 times x times y squared, y times y. So it can be 0.5 times y times x. So that is the reason they are like terms. So that means they can be combined. So 0.5 plus 2 is what? 1.5. Oh, okay, 2.5. 2.5 y squared x. So when I combine those, they would become 2.5 y squared x. What about these two? Can I combine those? Well, we have x and y here, x squared and y here. So x and x squared, they're not like terms. So these two are not like terms because x squared and x, they have different exponents. Okay, so combining like terms number one. Okay, so simplify. Which are the like terms that we can combine? What I like to do when I see equations like this is to draw circles or shapes. Okay, so I can draw, this is 3x squared here, and I see this negative 2x squared. Remember this negative sign? Students forget that negative sign there belongs to the number that follows. So this is negative 2x squared. It's not just 2x squared. This is negative 2x squared. So we can combine these two. 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is, this is really saying 3 lots of x squared and plus negative 2 lots of x squared. So 3 minus 2 is just 1. So this is just going to become x squared, 1x squared plus 4x. But we actually don't need to write 1 in front of x squared because that is the default. So we can just write x squared plus 4x. Okay, what about this problem? Okay, can you combine the like terms? I know that 2x squared and negative x squared, they are like terms. So I am going to put, whoops, I am going to put a circle around it. And notice that I am being very careful to include the negative sign with the x squared. And then I can also put a square around the x's, combine all the x's. Okay, so let's combine the x squared terms. Negative 2 lots of x squared plus negative 1 lots of x squared is going to be combined to negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3 lots of x squared. And what about this? Plus 4x minus 4x. You have 4 lots of x, and then to that you're adding negative 4 lots of x. 4 plus negative 4 is 0x. So this is 0x. Okay, what is 0 times x? This is not same as x, or this is not same as y. 1. This is 0 times anything is 0. So this simplifies to negative 3x squared is my final answer. Okay, so you are going to do some Desmos activity. So please go onto that now. And you're going to do card 1 to card 10. Okay, so this is the first card where you're grouping like terms. So we remember, like terms, they need to have the same variable and only that variable, and they have to have the same exponent as well. So when I look at y cubed, I know that these two are like terms, so I'm going to combine those. Let's see, do I see numbers? Let's combine all the constants. Okay, do I see any more constants? No. What about the x's? I see a negative 5x and 8x, and I also see a negative x. Negative x is same as negative 1x. Okay, what about xz's? Do we see any xz's? No. Do we see any xy's? Xy's? No. So those are separate. What about xy squared? Xy squared, xy squared. Okay, good. All right, what about x squared y? Is x squared y same as xy squared? No, they're not. Okay, let's keep going. A classmate grouped these 3 cards as like terms. Do you agree or disagree with your classmates? So xy squared, and x squared y. The y needs to have has have the exponent of 2, but it only has exponent of 1, and x should only have 1. So I disagree. And you can explain your thinking. Remember that not only do variables have to be the same, but the exponents for each of the variable has to be the same. That is the reason. Okay, Ruben says the cards would combine to 14x. Leslie says the card would simplify to 2x. Who do you agree with and why? So 8x plus negative 5x minus x. This is like negative 5, and this is like negative 1. So 8 minus 5, that's 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we have 2 lots of x, so it's 2x. I would agree with Leslie. And you can explain why. Because it's not, you're not just combining the constants. You need to that negative sign tells me that there is negative 5 lots of x. So you need to take that into account. All right, drag the blue dots to rearrange the like terms next to each other and then enter the simplified version. Okay, so I can move it like this. Okay, 9x. Do I have any other x's here? So I can move the x to here. Let's move the variable, the constants to the end. Okay, and then y's are together. Good. All right, so then I have, how many x's do I have? 9x minus x. And notice that the negative signs go with the variable. So 9x minus x is 8x. So I am going to write 8x here. And 4y plus 2y. 4 lots of y plus 2 lots of y is 6y plus 6y. And then 6 plus 8 is 14. So that's my answer. Okay, drag the orange dots to rearrange like terms next to each other. Okay, so I need to put all the x's together. Let's bring all the x's together. Okay, and let's bring all the variables to the end, because that's always a good practice. And that leaves me with the y's. Okay, so once you bring them together, once you combine all the x's and y's together, then you can really see 9 minus 5 is 4x, and 7 minus 4 is 3y, and 10 minus 8 is 2. So this simplifies to 4x plus 3y plus 2. What does the expression 3x to the power of 3 plus 2x squared minus 2x to the power of 3 simplified to be? Okay, which are the like terms that I can combine? It's the x cubed here and x cubed here. Okay, the x squared is not a like term. So then you're combining 3 minus 2 is just going to be negative 1x. Okay, no, positive 1. 3 minus 2 is positive 1. So it's positive 1x cubed, but that's going to be same as x to the power of x cubed, okay? Plus 2x squared. To do the exponents, you just need to do the caret symbol. Okay, what does expression simplifies to be? Okay, so we need to combine the y's and the y squareds with y and y's. So negative y squared plus y squared, that's 0y squared. So that goes away. Negative 2y plus 5y is negative 2 plus 5 is positive 3. So it's going to be 3y. Which expression will be simplified to just one term? Okay, so to do this, you need to simplify each one of them. Okay, so can I simplify the first one? 5x squared minus 7x. Well, they're not like terms, so I cannot simplify this anymore. What about 14 plus 3y cubed plus 7 minus 3y to the power of 3? I can combine 14 with plus 7. 14 plus 7 is 21. And 3y cubed minus 3y cubed. 3 minus 3 is 0, so 0y cubed is same as 0. So you are only left with 21. So yes, this one will be simplified to one term. What about this? 4x squared minus 3x squared minus 4x squared. So 4 minus 3 minus 1 is 0. So you're just left with plus 9. So this is true. What about this? 8y plus 2y is going to be 10y. So we took care of those. Negative 6x minus 6x is negative 12x. So it's two terms. So the only two